book by Royce. Illustration and author. Glamour and pain, tragedy and triumph, suffering and success. I want my inner beauty to shine, the pillars of Olympus. Shits you got. Are they jail bars or the pillars of Olympus? Psych Ward Blues, a book by Royce. I am rearing towards my final days here. I may be Basquiat's shithead cousin, always in my feelings. However, I find pride in solstice. I am here for illusions of grandiose nature. I have yet to have them go online to fact check things such as the source code single on YouTube, bit.ly Nixtube. It's hard when you're telling the truth about past and present. It's so rare and unique, you end up in a psych ward. I partially blame myself for not being strong when I got famous on the internet. At the time, my mother wouldn't believe it, but waybackmachine.org, search myspace.com/worth2cool. It hasn't been deleted. Imagine my fight for identity in the midst of this. No support, no help, no belief, etc. My sorrow knows no end. I fought to be accepted. Now I fight to prove I've accepted and fell in love with myself. I just want to be free. The life and times of a true artist, online and off, is fretting tragedy, triumph, glamour, and pain. Nix is not going to teach. You are the girl that I've been dreaming of ever since I was a little girl. 1, I'm biting my tongue. 2, he's touching on you. 3, now what could it be? The words on the street is on the news. I'm not going to teach him how to dance with you. He's got 2 left feet and bites my moves, so I won't tell him how to dance with you. Meaning, this poem of art is about my jealousy of my insecurities of listening to another person. To get rejected for a better, safer option. I'm using the metaphoric to be stolen from twice is not the move. I'm not going to teach him how to dance with you. Haunted house on a lonely hill. She says his death pays the bills. She carries along, but someone puts a record on in a haunted house on a lonely hill. And he wonders why he can't sleep at night, because he's always up and never tired. On a haunted house on a lonely hill. Meaning, the haunted house fills the brim of memories. A record, like a vinyl record, is a recording of life events. She hides his body in the metaphorical house or catacombs of the mind. Sample, flamingos. Sample, the black kids. You are charming, boy. Not like my previous number. I left it all and let my sunshine flowers rest over my broken heart. La da 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 da. Meaning a charming fellow, not like the rest, who seems to be perfect until she reveals dire flaws. That very night by Royce. Sample. That very night. Holly Cook. All the illustrations blurred. Making my ideas photogenic memory, imagination real in any form is a great achievement for me. It's beautiful. And I don't think it's understood how beautiful it is to see what's in my mind become a shared reality. Portfolio. Maybe is now dubbed Psych Ward Blues. The penmanship of blue. Instructions. NTMHI staff If the grievance alleges abuse, neglect, or mistreatment, the assigned facility investigator should be contacted immediately by calling extension 747 or sending a copy of the grievance form to his or her office by hospital mail. If you're a patient, family member, representative, grievance form returned to TMHI. Nick's Worst Neo, Psych Ward Blues, Volume 1. As a copy sits perched on his setup, a troll who shouts quasi-intellectual, no nonsense, no nonsense, daily. I believe insanity is truly doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Therefore, I attempt to do something new, not entirely new, but evolving, reforming, formatting, editing, from recycling, etc. Anything and everything I do, I've learned the hardest way possible. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. But I've also learned I have to refresh what I do. Not repeating self, you see. That was a different way to start the state it is. I hate whiners, always whining. My life is tragic, tortured, etc. I keep a bright side with no help or comforting grace. I'm annoyed and voice myself by giving the whines a worst case scenario so they feel the true gravity of iro whining. Ugh. So if they say, as they have consistently, I have this issue, I make that scenario worse and see how they like a worse scenario. Maybe they'll feel grateful to just be alive in some cases. I mean, the ability to just do. There have been times when I was put down by 10 cops at a young age, but here I am, and here I stand. They raped me of freedom, ideas, and success. But I can write this and get out my emotions, everything, and hopefully get this seen by many, if not all. I break to saving. I will say, in tune with the vices, lust, greed, envy. I submerge myself in all these in order to face them and arise pure, a pure evil, undaunted with getting into greedily. I also have a morality of they do it to themselves. Why not profit attitude? But do not harm or take advantage of the weak. Just those I deem I should know better and don't do. Sure, I'm so evil I may be oblivious to taking advantage or even having a disadvantage. I just take whatever I can get or take it as it comes. To me, I've also learned to accept most things I even hate due to the fact of having no choice but in of accepting what I may not even want. I customize the form and shape it to be my own, or at least close enough. Honestly, I'm reluctantly really everything I truly am. I could be a huge, even more than I think I am, opportunist. I would never be aware of it. Take advantage of someone, quote unquote, nice, and not even notice what I did. I've accepted myself as a demonic force, a right, just evil, in a Japanese demon kind of way, not a true evil that's reserved for, but an untainted evil, a pure evil. Near any means necessary approach to seeing things right for myself and a domino effect, maybe others. Tattooed and marked for eternity. I literally, no matter what, wear my black heart on my sleeve, reminiscing of Invader Zim, Billy and Mandy, Nargo and Mandy. I've always been attracted to and of divine evil. Hence why Halloween's my favorite holiday. And I instinctually start the most workup until 2020. At the end of September, I am a dreadlocked, tattooed, with right ideas. As of now, outside of the societal but I feel at ease. A cleanser Jack Sparrow, an artistic Tara Sweeney, a side of Edward Scissorhands, the terror jerk of a crybaby. Beyond Batman, Dark Crimson Knight. How many baddie boys can you fit in a Jeep? Next Royce Neo. I Curve made an OC villain's hero. Red with the blood of his foes. The Crimson Dark Knight pours everything in sight. Red Nose Pit in the Pen. Red Nose Misfit. Gel Orange collar. Next Royce Neo. Next, the Red Nose Pit had a troubled history, and if you ever saw him, the facility made his teeth buttery. Then one gloomy, soggy day, Nix went to say a sun shower will show. Please rain over, wash me today. I'm breaking here, needing to save paper due to the fact the Psych Ward's running out. I'm always in thought, plenty of material left. These portraits are not requested, just picked out of a selection. I wanted to talk about ideas like chains jangling in the background of the audiobook. I know on Monday I'll resume writing about my envisionment for the now art studio hangout, the Cyber Underground. Part thrift store for used electronics and clothes, part clubhouse, part art technology hub. I have until Monday. I pray the ideas don't slip my mind, but I need to source paper for myself. Let's see what I'll say till tomorrow. Adios. Never mind. I can't stop writing. Cyber Underground. Maybe I should write ink and paper. Run how I feel sort, ease, free, and blissfulness started as a place for the future. Communal bulletin boards, etc. At the cyberunderground.com on waybackmachine.org, you can see the vision, a futurescape to escape, even using, at the time, New Age Internet C-Punk at Coral Reef Records. Breaking tunes after that failed. I would pick it back up in 2019, attempting to make it into a technology hub. Social. This also tanked. I would, after the creative sciences era, begin to formulate plans that have to the most current take on Cyber Underground. I finally washed that junkie's track jacket. Smells so much better. Next, to stop letting my work tie me up to neglect myself. 'Tis my life. As you're all, even if I'm a fool, admired by few, praise means nothing. awareness of me means everything. Cyber Underground Online is a place for me to offer creative solutions, graphic design to all, to anyone. Also a stay to anchor me into being able to release all of my work. That's what Cyber Underground is now. Cyber Underground's envisionment as a physical address. A few ideas inspired by Kong Studios. I want it to be an art and technology hub. It's a monologue. I want it to be a place artists and now innovative technologists can find a place to be, but not only for them, people into the culture of the new age can find solstice with a club in the back and also a thrift electronics store in the front, making a one-stop shop at the future. Even a place to camp. Trap Burger and his grid logos. Now I have to figure out where I have a spot in Nashville. In Herman's, a place used to get tattooed, has a full, not for everything I need in a main street as well. Just will the people come? If it's not in Los Angeles, it's a question. But the open market of something like Cyber Underground, it could work best in an area no one is competing or even viable, like a pirate town before it became Pirate Town. It could be the start of a new era altogether. And I like to think of myself as a new the Leo for West. On the next, catching shadow Pokemon is not my goal though. Defeating, reviving. Once I'm solidified, a spot I can't help but be understood, or at least related to, a proper label. Like a cyber underground enthusiast, a futurist, or someone that goes down, went to the cyber underground. I'm thinking Cole Lyoko, but station with more connected for real time fighting. The future. Or maybe Palo Alto. But the untapped market appears to me. With the internet, they can find out about and come to see me. No more ink until I switch out. Still, I'm back. A twist of fate. I want to be in your photos from last night. A nod about passing wanderlust of everyone partying, socializing, having relationships, and me at home, missing out, of which I am grateful, yet still feel sorrow of wanting to be in photos, memories of the night, the time, just life period I digress into trying to get this book out. My resources, however limited, bring me fruits. Continuously give what I continue. If I'm destined to send this out, however, I'm troubled. Maybe my page, maybe irrationally, don't diagnose you with experience. Worry I'll lose my shit matter in time. What's a negative fate? But know how to seem and upload this book. She worried she wants a job where files were exchanged daily. She should know how to. And maybe she runs out of storage paper. Should be kilobytes, right? I'm not sure, but all of my more must get out. Some of my series of unfortunate events, like my jail psych ward stay, always leaves me open to failure due to limited resources. It's like I'm living a fate, a novel within the bound lay orphans. Boy, do I praise, man. I'm now working out some basics. So on this page, to give you a rundown, because this was wrote without filter. So the first idea was for me to have a shop. And this shop pretty much was going to be a thrift store slash electronic slash technological hub slash clubhouse in the back. It's going to be a club. I was inspired by Kong Studios, as you see. And also, I had an idea to make a burger joint called Trap Burger. And literally, this world is a trap, correct? We are born in this world. We cannot escape this world. Therefore, even our shadows can tell you. If you look behind you, you look at your shadow. You are trapped within this earth. You are trapped within these laws. You are trapped within the functionality of this world. This is what we call the trap, the true trap. Therefore, we celebrate this. We celebrate this in action to this earth, and we foremention something as canonical as a place called Trap Burger. It's reminiscent of a place on Coliseum, video game, Pirate Town, where it's recycled and it's not fancy. It's recycled nail shop posters, recycled neon signs. Everything's recycled, but it creates a new sensibility or a new art deco that hasn't been described yet. Also, I am explaining the fact that I'm running out of paper, consistently running out of paper, and I'm consistently running out of ink. I fought to get ink, I fought to get paper. This was all done in the psych ward, psychiatric ward. This is wrote in, and I had to get paper from multiple resources. I had to get paper from multiple resources. It was hard, but I was able to do it because I would get anything I can get my hands on that I could write on, and I started writing. And that's what this part is about. Just me having to, and I come with really clever ideas to get paper and pen. I would use the back of anything they gave me to get pen. And pen was hard. I would exchange pens when it got low. I would find a pen with all the ink in it, switch them out, and then use a pen with all the ink in it. Uh, while I'm reviewing these two pages, when I was talking about my life being fragile and um, what I could take advantage of, given the intelligence I've been given, I could take advantage of a lot of things, but I decided not to. Uh, I am an opportunist, however, but I do not take every opportunity. Is the scenario of this whole thing. Saying that inherently humanity is evil. Inherently, humanity is the culmination of evil. In order to exist, one must give into what the predetermined notion of evil is, which would be to say lust, for example, physical attraction created a child, which created life, which created the continuance of the human race. That all started from lust, which is an evil that someone gave into. Now, it inherently tells you that humanity is evil from its core. However, I do not believe in pettiness and pestilence. Pestilence and pettiness is a totally different subject. Um, I think pettiness is, I describe in this book, is something entirely different. I wrote on anything, and this is something I wrote on. They gave us these, and this is what they give you. Like you're a child, but they give it to you, and you have to make the best of it. And I made Kitsune Fox, a Psych Ward Blues, Swiper, swipe me please. The art, mischievous bandit, misunderstood, benevolent, crafty. Meet Fox. He loves dress up and playing pretend in real life, and the real talk. So let's get into this chapter or this page. Each page is pretty much not a continuance, so this is not an order. To garner more self-confidence, I self-evaluate and have self-realization of random. I'll stop talking about my disbelief at how iconic even my self-aware. I just look at it from a third person's perspective and just am aware and know they'll say, Nick's Neo. Neo was a star, a supernova, an icon. When someone knows they got it, with you, and maybe aren't aware, recognize your genius. I have the curse of being overrated by those who know about me and underrated by those who don't. You see, like the lady who got tripped out by a saying, which is a shadow fox. Something I have to popularize to be known as one of my motifs and not a skunk. Anyways, most standard people don't see the beauty in my work. They don't have the artistic mindset to see the pen's line work in the fox or the subtle white toe and whiteness insinuating the rest of the piece. I label all my work so you know what it is to this effect, so much so it's a style. I'll come to terms with and enjoy, for example, an upright swastika, a Japanese good fortune sign. You see, I even explain in some instances, I get that style from being persecuted and misunderstood. Even simple things like this picture is not about you, leading me to explain my work within the work, becoming a part of the work. I like, not love it, because no false perceptions or assumptions can be made. Hate it because I simply cannot explain everything. I wonder how much appreciation will grow when they realize the writing is slopped due to writing on a chair's wooden arm bars. Mind you, if you forget due to my writings, I am in a psych ward after all. Property of NTMHI, subject 0, patient the art villain. Oh, a little nod to the Scorch trials. I, in the holes. I wonder ways to continue this. Will I send pages through an envelope, a big yellow manila, one daily, an all or nothing approach? I really plan it to once I get back to jail, spend my commissary money on manila envelopes, pens, colored pencils, stamps, and sketch pads, considering the benefit of something that can last forever like my writing. Last word. Consumable. Good. Or who's and ding dongs. Plus, I can't get commissary snacks from the artwork I do. Our new idea, draw Naruto chapters on sketch paper. That way the dialogue problem does not exist. The con, not as clean as the manga's pre-existing pages. Redrawing scenes like a lot of work table to me, making a consistent style. Inconsistent, but we will see. I'll do chapter 1 in Neopen style, unbinding the pages so when I send them, lay flat like pages like this, lay flat like this. Thinking back to 2012, 2013, I've come a long way from drawing on library receipts from Naruto. See, a long way from wasted potential. I'll draw a car that now using gravity propulsion, or positive negative, aka gravity, to fly up in the air or hover. I'm so worried, facepalm. I send this and she won't be able to scan this. The junkie woman saw the beauty in my work. See what I mean? But I don't care if the only purpose to truly recognize my genius is a cult following. I just want the world to be aware. I and it exists forever and ever. Amen. Highly rated, even by those who hate it, is an understatement. Like under the belt. I remember Tyler Creator hating me for not fully creating on MySpace, but IP can make a career coloring, editing, remixing, mastering. Why can't a thief? So in this page, pretty much, I'm gonna break this one down as well because I realize that uh, my mind can leave you kind of boggled if you're not aware. Some of this is very in depth. For example, this first part explains that I am actually what I'm doing now. I self-evaluate, self-actualize. I do a lot of self. So I'm reading what I write, and I was looking at it as like a third person reviewing it. So pretty much this right here explains that I'm highly rated by people who know about me and underrated by those who do not know about me. And this is true in anything I do. No matter if it's 10 people or 100 or 100,000. It's it's mixed reviews. Everything I do is a mixed review. Some people think it's genius. Some people hate it. Some people hate it because it's genius. Some people it's just. But if you're with me, you're with me. It's lifelong. So if you're with me, you're with me, and it's lifelong. It doesn't change. That's why I'm overrated. I feel by people that know about me or people who feel me. So it's right here. It's explaining the fox, subtle details that you do not see in the fox. The white toe, you missed that. The line work, you missed this as well. You missed all the line work. That right there is a little obvious, but you miss the detail into making it white, and you missed that right there. I added that, but the line work is amazing right through here. This is all line work. And I was explaining how I'm able to use minimalism and interject with heavy-handedness and make a selection based off of that alone. And that's pretty much what that was about. It's not what you see, it's what you get from it as well. Uh, I call myself the art villain because pretty much I'm in. I'm a villain. What can I say? I just am. Property at NTMHI, I was, and I wrote this page on the slope of a chair, a wooden chair. That's how much I wanted just all of my mind to come out. Uh, I went from drawing on library receipts to making Naruto, which I may come out with one of my works. I get into in different chapters why it's so important that I can take a property, I can make something entirely different than what it originally was. Why it's so important and what that means for me. Uh, I'm talking about it's all or nothing. I have to get this out. When I get back, I'm gonna have my envelopes. And I'm talking about pretty much. I don't want the hoo hoo and ding dongs. I don't want the candy. I don't want the sweets. I just want uh, something to expand my mind with. And if push comes to shove, I can make money, which is commissary, which is snacks. That's all it is. In jail from drawing and what I buy. So pretty much, I want to invest in myself and invest in my future. Something I can have that's not consumable because you eat a chip bag is gone. You never get that back. But you make some art. You may give one to someone else, but you can make a copy, or you can keep that piece of art for as long as you want. And you can't eat that. Well, I hope you would not eat that, but you cannot eat that. So therefore, you have that longer, and it's something that you can hold on to. It actually expands your life. It goes beyond your living. this work right here, this work that I worked on, it would actually outlive me. So imagine that. And that's pretty much what I went into. This next page, Fall of My Empire, Psych Ward Blues. The Olympians went into a cell every night before each bout. A gladiator in and of life is one and the same. To eat, a conquest of survival. One must fight to the death, rising above all those who would wish them ill, building a Rome in a day. To the visitors, the spoils. To the victors, the spoils. Reject false icons. Jesus, Zeus, Jesus. Nix, the Roman Empire. Carve me at Rome, where I roam. They say I wish you could put yourself in a package. There is no roof because a God is limitless and God's dome has no roof. This pretty much describes me being a gladiator. Every night, gladiators went to a cell before they fought the next day. That's how I felt every day by myself. Uh, pretty much, I believe, here's my theoretical, I believe that they had no roofs on coliseums because God was limitless. Therefore, at the times when I thought that what I think, or what may be true, is that God, who watches the battles that go on within the confines of the gladiator um, building, is actually looking upon the fights and either blessing, cursing, being godly, and the fact that it had no roof was a testament to the power of God because God has no limit. Therefore, no roofs, no cut off to the sky. The sky is limitless. God is limitless. The earth, the space, everything. So a true Olympian, someone that's been through trials and tribulations, will know that life is limitless and God is limitless, and this is at nature. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, you won't have to admit that this world is truly limitless when you look at the potential of beyond what you know or what is seen as every day. So we go into this to wonder if my mom would judge me for this. She judged me. Hopefully, her judgmentalness sees past revealing myself to the world. She said she assessed me for who I am. If this comes out in mid 2020, she put aside our differences and released it for me. Thank God, it's a human. I like to review Psych Ward Blues as well. Your waves, they crash right over me. Your tides, they bring me back to sea. That's love unconditional. When it's hot, I'll never let it go. I'm not a nice guy. Just a, just so, well, and I'm not a goodbye either. True love is seeing beyond that, seeing beauty in my evil. I've had to accept myself in my role, and I've never been a hero. God damn, what a J.J. Abraham type of quote for a damn villain. I spun out. I went to Antichrist, New Age Shakespeare, to the point I began to rewrite Romeo and Juliet. A 90s film I believe to have talking that's muddled, confused, and repetitive. Also obsolete. And so, sedated. He said, "Kiss thine lips twice," and that's something like, "The breast of thine lips press against mine, momentarily whispering me away to another enclosure, not of this world." And writing this, I'm not engaging in any group. I wrote, if they say in so many words, it's okay to write, but it's getting in the way. I bet if I was Socrates, they'd give me peas, pearl, paper, and whatever I requested to write. I wrote, I hate my life, but I love it at the same time. I mean, the adventure. Who knew I'd start using coloring pages I found in the book? Who knew my life would lead me to creating an original character I love so much and named him after me? And I'm getting tattooed like a Raruto. It's just I wish I had more resources, equipment. That's my only trifles life. SMH. Why is it so hard? Oh well, can't be helped. So I continue. You see, bon voyage. More paper from coloring pages we get. From here on out, a lot of Psych Ward Blues will be coloring pages, then text or art on the back. This is the shortage of printing paper. I like, no, love it. A new style added to the collection, using Neo pen for black and white. I wonder if someone who prints out the downloadable book on my PayHip will see the as an artist. It's interesting to see a new, fresh take in a number of. I am very melancholy and upbeat, kind of sad. My circumstances are majority, if not always, dire, but I find a way out of no way, as they say. Please zoom in. I want everyone to see everything I write. Let my waves crash down on you and take me away. Yeah, yeah. Finding love and spirituality, I'm realizing, is a great topic in my of work and worshiping a cruel, twisted God, finding beauty in his dark, twisted reality. Mr. End of September, but I feel it's only the beginning. Grind all summer, all fall, all winter, all spring. Y'all must saw something in him. Saw something different because everybody listening. I was in the back row, now I'm in the center. I'll be here forever, Mr. End of September. That's what I want, an eternal audience with the internet. I am going to live forever. On YouTube, I can be viewed for eons. Continues to come. All I ever wanted was an audience, a global one. Then I finally made it. Like, yeah, I'm dripping. Look at me. Assault on battery. Ooh, ooh. I just want it so bad. I don't know what to do. It's my dream. A cultic audience that no matter what is views me or shows up to my shows. One day, one soon. I don't talk about everything I do, but I do overshare. Why not? When I always get caught, revel the truth. I'm like a serial killer with that. So pretty much what this page is entitling is uh, I'm going to be judged regardless when I reveal myself to the world for who I am. And in this chapter, I must be, you know, saying I love myself. And I'm not what you may think I am, but I am who I am. This right here is blood uh, drawn in. That's actual blood. It showed up in the scan, red. Um, I actually bled to get this song out. I cried. I bled. A lot of things happened to get this out. But I just had to know people. This is how I think. This is my mind on paper. It's full. It's inescapable. It's full. It's just a lot of things in and of my mind. And they come to terms on this. Um, so I created this original character called Rudo. I was really proud of it because it was taking an existing property and making it something entirely different that fit me and something unique. And as I call myself the art villain, that plays a part. So we want you to view this. The breasts of thy lips press against mine, momentarily whispering me away to another enclosure out of this world. I actually rewrote Romeo and Juliet a few times because he said thine lips twice and things of that nature. I had to rewrite it. So I'll write things like that, whispering me away to another enclosure out of this world. Thine lips are pomegranate. Things of that nature I'll write to my heart's content. Uh, so this right here is all about uh, I found reality, I find reality to be cruel, and it's beautiful, and it's cruelty, and it's very twisted. And if you find beauty in that, and you can appreciate that, I believe that your life will be way better. Because you gotta think, I was writing this in the psychiatric ward. I had nobody around me but the people who were there. I'm calling myself things like a serial killer, even because I know that no one really thinks this like this and can make sense of any of this. But I still write it, and that in itself is just insane. I still write it because I have to know this is my mind. It's pure. I am what I am purely. There's no in indoctrination. There's no setup. This is how I think. It's my mind. So uh, that being said, this is uh, it's funny, but no one's laughing. Cry now, laugh later. Who's laughing? The joke's on you. These are all pretty deep statements. Nothing's funny, but I laugh to tears. Cry now, laugh later. This is my favorite quote from this whole series is cry now, laugh later. Cry now, laugh later is when you do something, or when I did something, I immediately started crying. I waited no time to cry. But you can cry so much you start laughing. That's what it's all about. Crying to the point of laughter. How stupid you were for crying from the beginning. Because you gotta think when you cry, nothing changes. You just cry. You have to actually get up and move for something to actually happen. Create an action or at least no one cares when I cry. But cry now, laugh later is this is my motto. Here's where we start getting the beautiful parts of black and white represent duality as an anti-villain, finding beauty in tragedy, villain, and being a contrasting person. The beauty of Psych Ward Blues is a coming of age, a central unifier, and black and white creating the gray area. The beauty of jail bars being looked at as Olympian pillar is historically accurate as well. The gladiators, who at most were peasants, picked up by the governing body to stay in a cell and fight for survival every night. Their feats in battle become folklore, a god in training, so to speak. Mistaken for a peasant can be earned in his godhood. Psych Ward Blues is a merger of villainy, finding a home, where most play a nice guy role, and several themselves reveal themselves later on as who they truly are. A true villain brings about themselves entirely to the forefront as who they are, an antagonistic force. Throughout a protagonist's storyline, it's not all there is to a villain. A villain is simply admonished and surrounded in the ills, vices, and evils of self, usually a troubled soul with a realistic take. Villains like Diablo come to mind. But in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 4, who's the real villain? Diablo or Giorno? Who took his place and condemned him to an eternity of death with his golden requiem? You see, who truly was the worst? Such a cruel fate dealt by a hero. Each side suffered casualties, and in a war, there is no right or wrong, necessarily not including civilians. Just two sides against each other. To place an enemy in front of you, God. Is the truest villain. To set you up in a world you cannot escape. To put obstacles in your way. But what makes God an anti-villain? A villain's villain. And one to look up to. It is not only a righteous evil. He finds a way to make beauty out of it all. I refer to it in both pronouns. From a habit, but worship. A she or genderless pronounced deity. I did it due to the fact God is beyond a title of even God. As far as I know, and I may never know entirely, tragedy and triumph is all regulated by a Churnagan at times, but mainly antagonistic God. He is a detrotagonist. The challenge of life is set up by a villain, so why not the victory? Batman, or is that blind to his own morality, his judgment, is antagonistic to a villain who is born cursed to liberate and free. But whom? Everyone? That's a hero's job. Themselves first. The domino effect of inspiration that the liberator cares not for is a villain's job. Not to foil the hero's plans. But in the real world, the usual tragic upbringing of the villain abodes the factuality of winning by any means necessary. A villain has no traditional justice, for all mentality has so can happen to them. A villain knows justice for some and injustice for most exists in this real world. I play a role as an antithesis to an anti-hero, hero and or villain. Well, for I am a protagonist in my own story, often doing what is called degradable acts as a means to an end, is a part of the pain. After the act is to cry now. The laugh later is the after effect of doing the right thing. And then the bad guy wins. When reality hits, the villain gonna get the triforce of evil, sorrow, hatred, void, wrath. What this is all describing is the beauty of life itself. Who is the villain? Who is the hero? This cannot play out without a protagonist and antagonist. It's all it is. There is no hero. There is no villain. In my story, I'm the protagonist. All forces against me are antagonistic. This is the truth. In a war, each side will suffer casualties. Who's right and who's wrong then? Both take life. The epitome of righteousness is when the victor writes the story. Or so they would say. You see, I also am in battle with God's alteration. I do not know how to address such a being properly. Therefore, I refer to it several times as it, or the higher power, or not giving it a title. Because words that begin to describe. You think a word really means something to a God? Something that we made up? That even if you believe is given by divine inspiration, could amass us to, uh, be in that way? Absolutely not. There's one God, or if you believe, there's a branching system of that God. But we all believe there is a God who created something. Even if science is your God, there is some kind of objectification going on. So, with that being said, if I'm the protagonist and you're the antagonist, I'm the best man win. It's gonna be two sides of each other. Who's crueler, Diablo or Giorno? Giorno puts him in a state of death that is consistent and took his place as the mob leader. Now, Diablo was paranoid. Did he deserve his death consistently over and over again? Possibly. He was paranoid to that point. But, however, if it's up to you to decide, you are the antagonistic villain in Diablo's story instead of the other way around. You see? What are you running away from, hero? Heroes are always ugly on the inside. Kill all heroes. Every time a hero dies, a villain will rise. Heroes lie, villains never die. My productivity knows no bounds. Myself too. My idol, one of them. Max Bigger Belly, Max B, who only has a 2020 star to releasing songs after years incarcerated. As soon as I got the idea, I started working with limited resources. Mind you, I do all I possibly can. The gravity of having only 2 pieces of paper left and running out. Ink is running out. I press on. I wrote so much. If this doesn't end up pressed, I'll be extraordinarily upset. No authenticity of this is awe striking. I haven't even breathed in the fact I'm in an insane asylum or even everyone's crazy but me really. I want everyone like we're in the street because we're all crazy. We just got caught. We're all crazy. We just got caught. To have in my crazy position as a cartoon or a movie. The outside world is too. Rational thought. Now that's the kicker. I'm probably the most realistic being giving no shortcuts in life. Cut rat. Ear cut rat. I had to force myself to open up, to go against the grain, i.e. snitching on myself. I refrain from name dropping. The more I go along, the less I care. A not-eared rat. My mother is Lori Moy. You see how easy it is? And snitch. She used to give me wine coolers to calm me down, being very hyper. She also was, up until Warren came, very laissez-faire, down to earth. Still, she hid the Game Boy. Even if I was suspended from school, she let me keep it. Laissez-faire. She was very, and I just do it myself type. was it came to clothes washing, lawn mowing, etc. She's never been a bad person, just a failure mom, a supportive, overdoing right thing. She did a good enough job. Considering how it turned out, she didn't teach me much, just allowed me to learn on my own. And TV is bolted and we have to ask for screwed. We have to ask permission to use the bathroom. To the point I peed in a cup, splashed it on the tile floor when no one was around, and let it. Genius or I wear my crazy stripes proudly. Either way, not having to ask literally released me. Nurses, doctors, I fight. Forget I'm in this psych ward reading this. I wonder if you do too. Living life in random scenes. Am I liberated by not listening to one of the rules? Being able to care for self without negative consequences, just freedom. Enough to make me feel like I'm in another better place, on my own, responsible for myself, like I always wanted to be. I'm flashing back to when I told my mother I'd take my insurance money, push meds so I can leave. And she then called and told them my reality was not a delusion. And if she cataloged and scanned the works, I felt at ease about telling her use a photo in your computer just organically. Your computer is just, that's how it all. Since I forced it to ability, my penis grows to 10 inches again. 8.5, I'm just fit. For sure, I don't belong even here. Being micromanaged sucks. At least I can make my own decisions, forge my own pathway. Okay, so what this page is about is pretty much I'm coming to terms with uh, talking. Usually I don't talk. Uh, I consider this snitching on myself, which is it's not something I do because never tell everyone your business because you don't know who else's business it is. When you talk, you could be when I say she or my mom, I'm immediately putting her into my business. So that's why I don't talk at all. But in this case, I decided to snitch on myself and continue snitching. So essentially, I'm a naughty rat. And I get that terminology from cutting my ear. And it's part of the book where I talk about cutting my ear when I was young. In order to see, because I was curious what would happen if I cut my ear. And I actually have a knot on my ear, or like a little separator on my ear where I cut. It's always going to be there. You can feel it. If you touch it, you can feel it. So this is just pretty much saying that I'm going to tell on myself. And I even put my mom's name. I'm not going to say the last name. It could be a bun. You don't know what that last part is, but her middle name is Moy. Uh, so, I mean, I talk about Howdall as well, what that did to me. Howdall gave me erectile dysfunction, Howdall Risperdal, and my my area was 12 inches long. For the longest time growing up, it was 12 inches. And then I took the medicine. It stopped working entirely. It started working again at 10 inches, and then went to in between 8.5 to 10 inches. And today it's still 8.5 to 10 inches, depending on how I feel. So I still struggle with that. And that was from the medicine. So they gave me acute ED that I heard was temporary, but I still, I mean, I have less issues, but I still have issues with it. Um, you know, but I have ways around it. So, well, now I do. So it's not that much of an issue, but that's what I was talking about. And, uh, yeah, so Psych Ward Blues, duality, karma. And if I were to continue talking about duality, uh, duality is I breathed, lived, especially this time I breathed, lived, I was duality. Duality is pretty much where the picture describes it. So this is the same person. It's one person. It's one person inside of one body. And that is two sides of one person. It's not two personalities, two sides of one person. I believe in duality because I believe the omnivert and all these other things that have dual phases, that you can't have one without the other, pretty much. I'll continue these next pages in cursive. Some people's favorite part may be in cursive. With that said, I shall begin. I resort to using whether I could find, not wanting to repeat myself. I'm forced to rework, say, the Joker picture, refusing to use a hero in a justified, domineering pose as the and resources run limited. I use what I can, something I picked up and I'm still evolving to do. Take what I can get and do what I want with it. Even taking what does not resonate with me. To continue work is usually ill. Wait until I get what I want. We draw a lightning bolt around the eagle's head with Lieutenant Surge reference will do fine. I'm not sure, but now I sound like what I truly am and want to be. A badass creative director, thinking the world like a Brock Sampson from Venture Brothers of Art, going teams as team lead to lead in an artistic direction. Much rather chasing a hero than a villain is beyond me. But in a world of pure chaos, I'm even the villain's fool. DC Comics, I have villains and heroes. Alice Marvel Magneto being a favorite premise. I side with villains, but made me want to be one. Villains like Richard Marvel and entire Akatsuki, Itachi, for example, antagonistic party with a righteous goal to die for his brother's own fruition. Kasami's so like dying a noble death, saying you never know who you truly are, the kind of person you truly are until you die. Words that resound in my warrior spirit. To the voodoo men's and beliefs in a higher power, characters like those give me pumped to make Raruto an anti-villain, all his own, there to give lives, beliefs, odds against them, ability to protagonists done in stories, their goal sets. By any means, we will achieve their dreams. I almost forgot forced upon powers that are often forbidden, however, born with it, and or the life they've been given, even ostracized they make to the least of it. I'm thinking of the side of the original Naruto. Even if life is hard, there is pleasure and laughter in it. I even have my own pain and just how painful it truly was after the fact. My pain is a deity's, God's divine comedy. The raindrops pitter on the window pane as they trickle down. I wonder if it's befitting or not of my life. I've always enjoyed gray days, that flash flood watches, vindictive of how many I am, how wavy I am. Ooh, I wonder if I'm not doing enough writing. I'm not speaking much on people around me or describing the environment, but I love introspection. Diverting my mindscape is the beauty of me. I write a traditional author, but why? I'm an artist, not an author. A library artist, a literary artist, an artistic. So, pretty much, this chapter or this page is about. I consider each page a chapter. You might as well, because they actually are separate. So, pretty much, talk about the want. I refuse to use a hero in a picture in a domineering pose because I don't believe in heroes, not in this world. So I'll talk about Itachi and Kasami, mainly because uh, I side with them over the heroes, so-called heroes of those arcs. Kasami was noble to me to the end, uh, so I believe that um, my characters almost always given formidable, forbidden powers. They're always forbidden because I believe that life was put on you. You didn't choose to come into this world. You came into this world. So therefore you're cursed when you step into this earth. You were born. You had no decision. You had no thought. You were just born into this world. Now you have to survive. That's what I like. Now you have to survive. And that's life. You're born, now survive. That's what it is. And this pretty much sums that up. I laugh at my own pain, even. I think my pain is hilarious because not because someone else is suffering more than me, somewhere else. No, because it passes in itself. I go through so much pain that I don't even know what it is anymore. I was going through pain while I was in the psychiatric ward, but I didn't know what it was anymore. I forget what it is. I go through so much pain, I forget what it is. Wanted, you cramping my style. A punch in line. Get it? A punch line? A punch in line, huh? No one's laughing, what a clown. Pure chaos. Laughing gas. How about NOS? Bad hand. This card's useless in spades. That it is. Anyone can die for me. Would you live? Anyone can live for me. Would you die? I'll save on dumbed down writing like as I feverishly write, describing how unaffectedly I am, not an author, for another era, for the foreseeable future, despite my worries. I'm healthy as an ox. Before I get cursed and fall flatline or ill describing my peak health conditions, I'll cut it short. I'll add, I eat vegetables and clean up nicely. I forget what I look like, but in the mirror I look like a sun-kissed exotic beauty, my green hazel eyes illuminating my light skin tone and angular features. A traditionally handsome look. I've got face structure, i.e. jawline, from my almost equally handsome foster. I know well my beauty checkpoints. I can get them in bed easily. I can't hold on to them for long. The reverse of what most men want. Call me romantic, which I am. But the seahorse is pregnant for the female and made for life. The kind of romance I always wanted. Sacrifice for the woman, get rewarded with eternal love. But just not my cards. And realistically thinking of old age, I'd rather be a gigolo. A lot of heartache. Every woman I've been with Sins, Safe Brooke, false name Pamela, Brooke Hoffman, who I named Brooklyn. They all cheated on me multiple times, and with my no care or taking or not, I can still get with her. Cause I'm living the single life forever. Even if I'm meant for multiple women throughout life, each has different abilities and interests. Analytically, this one has thick hair, good for offspring. And in civilization, this one has a goth style, so I get to enjoy my own Winona Ryder ripoff, or at least about that. Really, the way I play the game, I can slow down when I'm married with, say, 2 kids at home. Kravitz date her for a while because I like her rock and roll style family. Have a child with her. It's the Diddy. We can make music, have acting movies where it goes back and forth, cutting scenes until the conversation is over. Screen, blinking to transition. Amuse to lure and explore art with. She also is not afraid to express. Style wise, meaning I can give her an Anakin Skywalker haircut or even Padma, but modernize it so we're not doing cheesy cosplay. Not worrying about women, just creating relationships with muses means I can focus near almost entirely on myself, which is something I do require. I just love being alone. I love to be seen, but I rarely want company, and when I do, it's usually from a free-minded female. I'm not trying to pressure you, just gonna stop thinking about you. You ain't really even gotta be my girlfriend. Just lovers, or as they'll say, friends. Really, unlike Music Soul Child, I ain't friends with nobody. Lovers with girls, associates with boys. I ain't nobody friend. Oh, I'm gonna get up in there. If they want, they have to take it how it comes. We'll play it forever. At least I'm playing the game now. I look forward to making memories with my many muses. I wonder what each one will help. It's very me. So, in this chapter, uh, pretty much, I'm talking about my love life. And I'm pretty much in a corner where, at this time, my mindscape, where I have to be a gigolo. And by gigolo, I mean I'm going to have to date women my entire life and not get married, I guess. I can get them, but do I want to keep them? But while I'm with them, we can do things like make a cutting back and forth transition, no scene, where we have a conversation. I can be on the phone, she can be on the phone, her phone can be pink, my phone can be blue, you know. In the background, I have a pink room, she has a blue room. It's more duality, but I'm on the phone, I'm talking to her about life and love. She's on the other end. And, you know, Picasso had muses, so I was thinking maybe I could Picasso it up, have muses in my life. Instead of having to settle down necessarily, I have a muse. I have a muse, because settling down doesn't work, so I have a muse. And these muses create new works of art, newer works of art. So I was with her, she inspired this, that, and the other. With her, she inspired this, that, and the other. I mean, I would prefer, this is what the chapter is about as well, I prefer to be with one my entire life. But the way it works out, this is how it works out. So, a normal picture color scheme. In my 12 years as a recluse, a forced upon recluse, via strict rules, psych wards, and cops, I spent 15 to 26 playing video games, researching everything I could, and watching film/anime. To say I have a doctorate, since I naturally study everything I see, hear, etc., even people I birdwatch. I'm reminiscing about Kirby's Eye boss, the Cyclops Cloud boss, and then I remembered the countless emulators and ROMs, like the SNK Game Boy game, in which I got perfect fights with Maru, the kickboxer with the headband. The Shimigami Devil Survivor game. I chose to stay with my day one, Yuzu, and only upgraded to Amani late game, replacing Asturo's dragging the team itself. You know what? Even as a gigolo, now I'll stay with the girl I started my journey with. Thinking of eras, stages, forms, and phases, this is the second stage of Psych Ward Blues era, so I keep the romantic adventure. Anyways, as a recluse, I this whole world like never before. I had always been curious, but with answers at my fingertips, I went down rabbit holes to the center of the earth. The junkie notices my small handwriting as well. Maybe well-traveled people like my work without Google ads to make no force awareness of my book or works in general. I would worry if anyone would discover or even read my work. My fake book was a teller. No one cared about my work. But I'm suspicious. They know about it. I'm so unique. If you do something like me, it's obvious. But who? It's my style. But I wonder if I can read my own text. With Zoom in, everyone can see it. The 12 years of reclusion and a non-existent social life and no effects on my ability to be social around people. But for a while towards the end of my reclusion, I suffered from a syndrome I can't describe. I would be in social settings where I would not speak, quietly sit there as my partner awaited my next words. A kind of anti-socialism and self-isolation derived from abuse at home. Consistent verbal abuse made my self-worth or ability to think be accepted socially low. At 27, I realized I'm over this and realized I'm popular because I stand out. I'm attractive and charming, but I'm able to work socially being talkative. I'm still learning how to reinduct myself socially, but I'm having no problems. So, for I still do out of the norm things like study people and stare as I do it, but I've learned to play it off. Playing it off is something I do best. I can make one full blown mistake and make it appear as much as. So this chapter is about me being able to socialize, and I'm able to socialize very well in certain situations. But I've created this because I've been persecuted so much. I've created this shutdown where I literally shut down because if I do something, I end up in handcuffs, or I end up in trouble, or I end up something happens every time I do something, and it could be someone else do the same thing and nothing happens, but when I do it, it's always something. So I've unless I'm very comfortable and I know nothing will come of it, I'm very shut down. Like if it's my stuff, it's my house, or something like that, I'm a totally different person. But when I'm out, I gotta be aware of my surroundings because I'm persecuted a lot. But this talks about me actually being homebound for about 12 years. I was really in the house like that. I would go out sometimes, like literally just go out to school, and that's it. So I was able to, in this time, uh, do a lot as far as virtually, and that's where like I got a lot of my, you know, shutdown personality from, just being having to be shut down. I guess I would, I would act out, and then I would, before you know it, and a lot of things I did was self defense. So, but yeah, that's what happened to me, and it's been a struggle. So here's how I made a selection of each one. So my number one pick would be first selection would be her. And then second, third, and fourth. It's like the girls I picked out, I picked one I'd be with for life. And then remember, that's not how it works out for me. So I picked three others I could see my 2D self with, thinking about a post-dated journey we'd have together. Then I thought, what one, if the nose likes me? Honestly, I'll take whatever likes me the most. Thinking that's what matters. I can expand on style, choices, culture, lifestyle, goods, etc. during our time together. If she's goth, for example, at least or 6.7 style is truly everything. And I don't care for bodies much. I mean, I'm a face man after all, but if she's goth, then I can introduce her to Lydia Lynch, studying the New York late 89s, early 90s club scene, then Michael Alec and Klaus Nomi come to mind. If not culture studying a historical AIDS epidemic, I know how Keith, Klaus, and Freddie died. I've studied so many artists, trying to emulate and study so many favorites of history. Not trying to become like them. At 27, I made it past them with no addiction at all, truly coming into self, taking uh, everyone from Ferris Badwan to his anti-verse counterpart, Julius Casablancas. Sentiments, this um amalgamation makes me able to fit in with all crowds, making no dark and indie pop making me universal. Now I just have to prove my own way. Reminds me of Hood Paved the Way Records, my first incantation of a subsidiary to release my work. I've come a long way from dreams, now they're reality. I'm not filthy rich, but at 27 I can see, do, make a living doing art. What I love to do, which after the cult following services is what I always wanted to do. I spank the monkey 2 to 5 times a day, sometimes till it bleeds from shaft rough traction. But stress relief and momentary moment of clarity after is worth it. It's one of my self-sufficient modems of release, a moment of clarity. But it has saved me many a time when I want someone in pure lust. It takes that away. After leaving you thinking more clearly about your possible choices. Being self-sufficient is important to me, and although I love loving another, independent and love myself first. I learned the hard way I can't save one from being treated poorly by other men, and I cannot one down trying to help, letting myself go. My mother told me a story where I slapped spoon she tried to feed me with out of her hand, and the way I am now, I'll end up feeding myself in life. The creative sciences era was so also beautiful because I found a way to monetize myself to survive as an artist. Monetization was probably the greatest struggle. Psych Ward Blues gave the method, the creative sciences blueprint, laid out every era just as important as the next or one before. I reveal more as I go, but our mind, this is only one era with a lot pent up. My life's not near over. I'm running out of ink. Let me finish. So what this page is about, uh, pretty much is I'm divulging culture. So Claus know me. Ferris Battle Line, I name dropped. I feel Lydia Lynch. I can name drop a lot of artists. Siouxsie and the Banshees. I mean, I know about a lot of this because when I was by myself, those 12 years, I was really studying art, culture, music, um, pop culture. I was studying it to a T. I still study it to this day. I study everything about it. And I just want one day where I'm an icon or I'm a part of pop culture in some shape or format to where I can do what I do for a living. That's pretty much what this is all about for me. This part. It's also about being self-sufficient and loving yourself more than anything. Because at the end of the day, I only have myself. So this is Raw Rudo. Of course, he has a cursed eye. He's a zero. Uh, he's gone through a couple name changes, and this was a few months ago. So there is no way to end Psych Ward Blues. The book given me my life and works are continuities. I work in eras due to the fact after I'm released from jail, the era is over. I don't end, I simply reach stopping points. I've grown from an artist who does everything literally I do to a graphic artist that does books, short them to the point. Psych Ward Blues stages was writing, so it's not over yet. A court order stay of 30 days maximum is a 4 to 13. So this talks about uh, my history as far as reading uh, life works and social studies and how I had 30 days to stay there. So,